of your face!
Yare yare da ze.
Throw an elbow!
Hi everyone, this is Rachel Dadon here in the beautiful Las Vegas, Nevada. Thank you so much for joining me. Wait, husband, it's my turn. Today we're going to do something unique. We're going to do a buyer seminar, but not us standing and lecturing you about the process. We are going to answer all your questions. So if you have any questions while we are talking, leave them in the comments below and we will address all of them. I want to thank my wonderful husband over here, Jake Dadon.
Thank you. Thank you. Am I allowed to talk?
Yes. Now, yes.
Hey everyone, Jake Dadon, and just like Rachel said, we're going to make your life much easier by just sitting at home at your comfort of your sofa or desk, on your phone, and just any questions, anything you want, going to be answered today. And if for any chance it wasn't answered, please leave it at a comment below. Just type whatever it is that you're concerned about or have a question, and we'll be more than happy to answer and reply to that.
So let's start. Hi everyone, thank you again for joining us today. So if you are new to our channel, first of all, thank you so much. As you know, this whole channel was created to share knowledge with you and to help you from our experience, from our buyers' experience, from our sellers' experience, and for our own experience.
So first thing you need to do, hit that like button, right? Subscribe, and don't forget to mark that small bell button over there so you get notifications for every time that we upload new video, new content that gives you that amazing knowledge. That's it.
Okay, so let's start. The way that we're going to do it, I'm going to ask a question. Whoever from us wants to answer, we'll just go ahead and answer.
Those are questions that we had a bunch of people asked us along the years, and in the past week or so, we posted and asked a few people to give us their questions. What are their major concerns? What do they want to know? So we piled all those, compiled them into one big list, and we're going to try to go over all that together with you.
So let's start. The first question is the first step in buying a house is choosing the house that I want to buy?
Great question, Rachel. Thank you very much for asking me that. So, the first step that you need to do in order to, in the path of purchasing a house and becoming a homeowner, is to secure yourself a realtor. You just need to have somebody on your sideline, somebody that will hold you hand in hand through the process and will tell you what to do, and most important, sometimes what not to do.
Right.
Somebody knowledgeable, somebody with experience. Just secure yourself a realtor, and from that point on, your life is going to be much, much easier. That's the first step of buying a house.
And it's also going great with the next question is how do I choose the right realtor?
Wow, that's...
I can answer that.
It's very complex, and yes, please, go ahead.
Okay, I'll answer it. First of all, when choosing the right realtor, interview them. Don't go with your, I don't know, your family member or your friend just because they are your family member or your friend. In this process, you are actually buying a house, and it's a huge purchase. And you need to make sure that the person, A, knows what they are doing, available for you, and is not going to allow that like personal connection or like take you for granted, something like that. So go ahead, interview them. When my friends come and interview me to be their realtor, I tell them, don't be shy, ask me all the questions. In this process, it's on me to prove you guys why I'm the best.
It's exactly that. That's it's right on the nose. The thing is that once you're getting emotions and personal relationship getting in the way, that it's a recipe for, it's got bad written all over it, right? I'm not saying don't ever hire somebody close to you. I'm just saying that make sure that the person are capable and professional and know what they're doing. And there is a very simple questions that you can ask, and you want to go over those, like
So,
what to ask, how to interview.
First of all, ask them how long are they in the business? How many transactions did they have? How many times they represented the buyer? How many times they represented the seller? If they are part of the team, ask them what are their working hours, because in real estate you can't really work 9 to 5, Monday to Friday, because most buyers want to see houses after hours and on the weekends. Ask them, what else?
Their accessibility, that's the most important
Yes.
thing for us, right? If I'll text you at 10 p.m. or at 6 a.m., will I get an answer back?
Right.
How long will it take you to get back to me? If I want to see a house today, and I'm going to give you a 30 minutes heads up, will you be available? Those kind of things that, at the end of the day, you're the client.
Right.
You're at the center, and everything needs to be evolving around you. So first and foremost, and it's you, it's your needs, it's your wants.
You're the
Whatever
boss.
you say jump, we say how high. That's basically how it works. So that's one of the things that are most important on choosing the right realtor. After obviously being professional and knowledgeable, it's accessible.
Yeah. I think that like one of the biggest questions that buyers have, and it's on the list, but like further down the road, but I'll bring it up right now, is can a buyer fire their agent? And the answer is yes, you can. And if that agent is not giving you the service that you need to get, you should have a very hard conversation with them. Because remember, every time, and it goes back to it, every time you are buying a house, and it's a huge, huge purchase.
Yeah, at the end of the day, I mean, buying a house, just like Rachel's saying, it's one of the largest single purchase you'll
Right.
ever do, right? If not the most large purchase. And no matter what other agents might tell you, other realtors, oh no, once you sign that contract, you're stuck with me for life, right?
No, you're not.
It's a bunch of BS. At the end of the day, if you want to fire someone, you're firing them. It's not a marriage. It's a business partnership that can be ended at any point, any given time. So that's about that.
Another thing that you can do, you can ask people you trust from their experience to give you recommendations. You can use social media, and social media is huge. So see if they have any reviews from past clients. And I think that the biggest thing is no matter who you are interviewing, if it's your realtor, if it's your lender, be very honest about what you expect from this relationship. Because different people have different expectations, and when those expectations don't meet
Yeah.
or answered fully, people have a tendency to be disappointed, and we don't want you to feel that way. So it's on you. Be very honest, and that's it.
So
Anything
just
else about this
one
topic?
more thing about that
Okay.
issue is that, as Rachel said, being honest, you just have an open channel of communication. No matter whatever it is that bothering you, be able to say it freely, and say it freely. Not only say it, but to say it freely at a sort of way that it's not gonna be ambiguous. It's gonna be very clear what you want, what you meant to say, and the other side will be able to say it. And at the same note, the realtor should be able to say the same thing to you, right? If they don't understand you, it's going to be very hard for them to find you the right thing that you're looking for. So just open channel of communication and just talk as much as you can about.
And also ask them, I'm sorry that I'm stopping you, also ask them if they are full-time realtor or part-time realtor. That's
Yes.
huge.
Yes.
And
And she's not really sorry that she stopped me. She's doing it all the time. That's fine.
I do.
If it's part-time or full-time, it's very important. That's also something that needs to be addressed.
And I think that we answered that
Yeah,
question.
we did pretty much cover that.
Let us know if there is anything not clear about that question or about that answer, and we'll be more than happy to address it. Let's go to the next question. So remember, the first step in purchasing a house, secure yourself a reliable and professional realtor to be on your side. The next question is, and it will take us to the next step, is how do I choose the right lender?
Wow, okay. So basically, I can answer that very simple. Whoever you click with the most, and that's how I will choose. I will decide who I'm going to work with. I'm going to interview a minimum of 3 of them. I'm going to talk to them. I'm going to see what they have to offer, and as far as prices and interest rates and closing costs and all those kind of things, all those fees, yes, this is very dry, clean-cut numbers. You can compare apples to apples and see where the bottom line is, and who's going to be one that is going to give me the best deal on the lending aspect. But something very, very important that a lot of clients tend to forget about is to actually meet in person, in the office, face to face, not necessarily in the office, it can be over lunch or over a beer, whatever you want, whatever works for you. But take the time to interview, same as you interview the realtor, you want to interview the lender. You want to make sure that you're clicking with that guy, that you have that common ground to talk about something, and you're communicating on the same level. Because the lender has a very, very significant part in the deal. He's basically the guy he's basically the guy that's going to say yay or nay if the deal is going to fall apart or follow through. I mean, the communication, once again, is very important with the lender as well. So there is all those online lending platforms and websites that are just with a click of a button, and technology is amazing and awesome.
I want to explain a little about that. This step is extremely crucial because when a buyer is being qualified or getting pre-approved, we want to know as realtors that that's a solid pre-approval. And why am I saying it? Because based on that pre-approval, we are starting the process of looking for the house, finding the house, entering escrow, and the most horrific thing that can happen in this process is that we're almost towards the end, and then the lender that didn't really properly did their work suddenly comes back to us and he's like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't notice, but the buyer has a foreclosure or something like that.
XYZ reason, whatever it is.
We are not able to close. That's unacceptable in no way. That's the reason why I'm like jumping to what you started saying, that it's crucial for you to work with a very professional and experienced lender. This way, when you are getting yourself pre-approved, you know that you are not like 100% solid, but 99.9 solid.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, you're going to get a letter from the lender saying you're pre-approved, right, or pre-qualified. And it means that, yes, from a very superficial investigation of your financials, I think that you can get approved for that much. Now, in order for me as a lender to give you a solid answer for sure, yes or no, there's going to be some steps along the way that I need to check, that I need to verify, if it's your income, if it's your debt, if it's your credit score, or everything about your financials. And only then, and after submitting it to underwriting and doing a lot of other stuff in the background, like behind the scenes, only then you can get approved, and that takes time. So that's the reason that Rachel is saying 99.9% and not 100%, because it's impossible to give you 100%.
Right. Now, another question that a buyer had is, what's that term, purchase power? You want to answer it? Is that
purchase power, yeah. So
Okay, so I'll go ahead and I'll answer that question. Purchase power is a very, like a different way to say how much of a house can you buy. That's it. Not so complicated. It's just a term. Sometimes lenders and realtors use those fancy terms, but purchase power, pretty much, how much of a house can you go ahead and buy? Now, there are a few really important terms that I want you to remember while you're interviewing your lender. First of all, how much your monthly payment is going to be, how much the down payment is going to be, and how much closing costs you will be asked to pay. Now, I want to say something super important, and I want you to write it down. When, after your meeting with your lender and you had all the conversations, shared all the expectations, yada, 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 you get two things. You get everything in writing. This way we won't have any misunderstandings of you thought A, but actually it was B. So get everything in writing. And the second thing is get a simple table that shows you the different scenarios. Example, the lender will give you 3 scenarios or comparison between several scenarios. If you are buying a house for 300, 350, 400, how much your monthly payment is going to be, how much your closing costs are going to be, everything very organized. Another thing, many buyers want to know what are the difference between the loan. If you are buying FHA or conventional, which one is better for you? Again, the lender will explain it, but ask to see it in writing. And then it's so simple because at the end of the day, the whole process is just numbers. So when people just like talk and talk and talk about numbers, sometimes it just goes. But when you see it in like a simple table, suddenly it
once
makes
you're taking a pen and paper, putting it on paper and just writing, okay, with 5%, 10%, or 20% down payment, I'll be paying this much, or that much, and for that amount of years, I'm going to pay this much. It's going to be my monthly payment for each and every scenario. Now you're seeing it, you're visualizing it.
Exactly.
It makes more sense. And when you're talking percentages, for some people, it's just something in the air. And when you see monthly payment, it makes more sense. So just use a pen and paper, or just ask the lender to print it out for you. And that's going to be much easier.
So we covered first step, choosing a realtor, second step, interviewing a lender and get you pre-qualified. The third step, and that's actually where the fun starts. I loved it.
That's Rachel's thing, right? That's the reason she wakes up in the morning. Basically, it's start viewing houses, start shopping around. So you already secured yourself a realtor, you already got your pre-approval from the lender, you know that you're good to go and buy a house, once again, let's say $500,000, and now you know your niche of prices, and you sit down with your realtor and you're like, okay, let's shop, let's go, let's look at houses.
Now, before we'll start viewing at houses, here are a few things that I would love you as buyers if you'll do. I will love you regardless, but I will love you even more. First of all, before you meet with your realtor, prepare a list of must versus nice to have. So, and I'll explain. So, for instance, let's say if a pool is a must for you, say a pool is a must. If a pool is nice to have and you don't really care if you have a pool, yes or no, put it in the column of nice to have. The reason why you are creating these two columns, the nice to have are things that you can be flexible about. Like, I want to have a tile flooring, but if the house has a carpet, it's okay because it's an easy change. But if the house doesn't have a pool, to install a pool, it's a bigger deal.
So I'm going to elaborate a little bit about that. When we sit down with you guys and we're starting looking, okay, we need to categorize it and kind of divide it into two things that we can change, things we cannot change, right? The most important thing is that we're focusing first of all on the area. You want to be in the west side of the city or the east side of the city or the north or the south or the center and downtown or uptown, whatever, right? Where do you want to be? Because we cannot just relocate the house, pick it up, move it to a different neighborhood, right? We're focusing on a certain geographical area. Once we pinpointed that geographical area, and to decide about it, there's some other factors you need to consider it, like if you're going to a certain church or a synagogue or a mosque or a school district for the kids to be zoned to it, or if you have families or friends or you're working close or far, all those things will help you to decide on the geographical area. After we pinpointed on the geographical area, now we're deciding on those other things that also cannot be changed. 2 stories versus single story, right? Pool, yes, it can be changed. You can dig a pool and do it on your own. Does it worth it? Not so much. I mean, the cost of building a pool versus the resale value of it, you're kind of losing money. So I would suggest, if it's very important.
Unless it's your forever home. We can, if you have question about that, just let us know.
But basically, a pool is something that you need to consider as a must. If you really want it, it cannot be changed. It's something that you want to have already built in the house.
Right. Lot size.
The size of the lot.
RV parking.
Which is part of the size of the lot, and if there is an HOA or no HOA, because then there's restrictions coming with that.
Right.
So let's say there's a huge lot, but HOA will not allow RVs, then it's out the window. You got nothing to do with it.
Right.
So those kind of things, there's a long list of it, but those are just a little bit of points of what can be changed and cannot be changed. Those cannot be changed. Now, like Rachel said about tiles, right? Carpet, red wall or green wall or a chandelier. I don't care about that. Those can be changed. Even the kitchen cabinets and the countertops and whatever. It can be changed. Yes, it might be costly and a little bit pricey, but it can be changed. And if you're looking at that for 30, 40, 50 years you're going to live in that house, or even 5 to 10 years, it makes sense. Because if everything works, but the kitchen counter or the kitchen cabinets at all doesn't work, don't worry about it. You'll change it. You'll be able to work with it and make it so it will work for you.
Right. Another thing that is super important is give honest feedback. And I always tell my clients, I personally I'm not invested emotionally in any of those houses. If people will tell me that's an ugly house, I won't get offended. At the end of the day, the most important thing is for you to love the house. we had a client, and I love her to death. She's a dear, dear friend, that every house that we saw, and she knew and I knew that that's not the house for her, she started a monologue. Yeah, but the house is really nice. And I'm like, can we just go to the next house? No reason to give me any excuses. If it's not your house, just let me know, Rachel, this is not my house because A, B, and C. This way I'll be able to adjust the search and I'll better understand what you are looking for, and next to the next house. Okay.
So
another tip, the 5 showing rule. After I shared it, I think 2 years ago, bunch of realtors started using it, and I love it because it makes our lives as realtors easy on top of your life as the buyer. And what is that phenomenal rule?
Rule number 1. Go, shoot, it's yours. Your stage is yours.
Thank you. Whenever you are going and viewing houses, don't view more than 5 houses, because after the 5th house, you don't remember which kitchen belonged to which house and which whatever. You just don't remember. Most of the time, you'll be overwhelmed. And now we'll go even deeper to the 5 for the 5 houses rule. After you saw the first house, you can if you want. Remain quiet. You don't have to give feedback, yes, no, unless it's like something that is solid. Start giving feedback after the second house. Why? Because at that point, you already have two houses to compare. And you can say, okay, I rather the second house over the first house. And then this way, at the end of the day, or you have the one, or none of them will work, give an honest feedback to your realtor, and you'll be able to better be prepared or to choose better for the next view or showings.
Exactly. So the way that it's going to work,
You will.
you have 5 houses, right? And you saw the first house. You don't tell us if you like it, you don't like it. You don't tell yourself even if you like it or not. You saw it. This is something that's a possibility. You keep it in your mind. Great.
Because also think about it, it's like it's the first time, most of the time it will be the first time that you are actually going and viewing for houses for you to buy. It's a huge step.
Always talking.
Okay, continue.
So you saw the first house, right? You decide, you can't decide because you have nothing to compare it to. So you're just looking at it like, okay, I'll remember it. Now let's go to the next house. We're looking at the second house. And now we're saying, okay, I have something to compare it to. The first house had a pool, the second house doesn't have a pool. This is a single story, the first house was 2 stories. Now you're starting to debate with yourself which one you like more. As soon as you came to a conclusion which one you like more, you're eliminating the other one that you don't like, and you're keeping in your mind only the one that you like. Well, now we're going to the third house. So let's say, for example, you like the first house most, right? You're going to you remember the first house, and now we're eliminating the second, going to the third. Now we're comparing the third and the first. Same thing going on and on and on until the last house. This way, you ending up at the 5th house with 2 houses you need to compare with, right? The house that you're currently in, the 5th house, and let's say it was the 3rd house that you liked the most. And you're making your life much easier, but always comparing 2 instead of like, wait, this one had a pool, the other one is with the oven, this is with the green wall, and this is with the carpet. No, which one is which? You will, it's going to be a mishmash in your mind, in your brain. You won't be able to get out of it. Always compare 2.
Next question. When is the best time to write an offer?
Now, right now.
Yeah.
Right now. And
As soon as you saw the house that you love, the perfect time to write an offer, right there and there. And I'll explain the logic behind it. While you are at the house, you don't know how many other buyers already view the house and might already send in an offer. You don't really have a clear, like a big picture of what's going on behind the scene with that house. So if you feel that this is the right house, go ahead right away, submit an offer. A very crucial thing is while your realtor is writing up the offer, because there are very different ways to write up the offer, share with them. If you need help with closing costs, share with them. If you need a longer escrow, share with them, so he will be able to write up the offer the best way to actually fit your needs.
Exactly. So when you're writing the offer, there's a very, very specific way to write an offer for each and every individual buyer.
Right.
So that's something that goes back to what we said about securing a realtor that knows what he's doing. But as for the question that when is the right time to write an offer, very simple, now. And it's got nothing to do with the time of the year, if it's summer or if it's winter, if it's seller's market, or if it's buyer's market. If you saw the house that works for you, make an offer.
Exactly.
We will make, as realtor, we will make sure that it will work best and perfect for you. But first, you need to write an offer in order to open that channel of communication between you as the buyer and the seller. And only then we can start milk from the seller some benefits or whatever, but write the offer right now.
Another question, how will I know how much should I offer? So it's really simple. How much should I offer? The first step is to run comps, to understand how much other houses comparable to that property that you just view, how much they were sold. Remember, the houses that are currently active, that's what the seller is asking. It doesn't really give you a lot of indication about solid and closed transaction. Also, under contract doesn't really give you that understanding. Only the sold properties, you know that there are actually properties that got an offer, appraised for that value, and sold and closed. So look at those numbers. After you have the comps from your realtor, then start talking. If you are in a scenario of multiple offers, ask yourself, if someone else will take this house, how will I react? If this is your house, like no matter what, go ahead and like put in a solid,
make a better
very
offer.
solid offer. Now, while we're recording this video, it's November 2020. I can tell you that at the price point between 250 and up to 400, most of the times you have one shot, because we have.
One more thing. It's October.
It's October. What did I say?
November.
November. Oh my God. Sorry, it's October. Okay, so when you are writing up an offer, most of the times you will have one shot, because inventory is so low, and at that price point we have still scenarios of multiple offers, even though it's October, which is like, but this year is just a different year. So when you are writing up an offer, give it like the best offer right out the door. Don't wait for them to counter you, because most of the time sellers won't counter. I'm talking about this specific time of the year, and this year specifically, sellers won't counter. They will just accept the best and they will open escrow.
Exactly. So if you pay attention, everything is circling back for the first thing we said about securing a professional, knowledgeable realtor that will be able to educate you about the current market in your current geographical area. So, as Rachel said, here in Las Vegas in October of 2020, it's a seller's market, and it's very, very hard to get to send a lowball offer or something like that.
Can you explain what is a seller's market?
So basically, seller's market means that the inventory is ridiculously low, right? There is much more buyers than there is houses available for sale, and once there is more demand than supply, prices goes up. That's for the when is the good time to submit an offer? Right now.
Okay, now next to the next step. So just like, let's summarize what we had so far. I'm hoping that you are following everything. I'm going to also write down like a vlog at the bottom of this video, all the steps, so it will be super easy and clear for you, because that's just the way that we operate. We want everything to be super easy and understood. So we secured a realtor. We are pre-approved. We went and saw houses after we clearly communicated with the realtor what is our expectation and what we want. We saw the house. We submitted an offer. Now we have 3 scenarios that can happen. The seller can accept our offer. The seller can count the offer, and then the ball is back in your court, or the seller can reject. Do you have anything to add to that scenario?
Rejection, you just, okay, no problem, move on. Counter, you're thinking with yourself, okay, what is the highest and best that I can offer in order to get it over with? And if I really like that house...
It's not just highest and best. It means that counter means that the seller agrees to most of the terms, but he has few terms that he wants to change.
Yeah, but when you say highest and best, it's not necessarily only about the purchase price, it's about the terms, right? If you offered closing escrow in 45 days and the seller wants to do it in 30 days, can I do it? Does it going to work with my life schedule, with whatever the lender's needs, with whatever it is that, can I get it done? And that's part of the highest and best. That's the best terms, the best price, the best everything. And that's in a situation of counter. So you don't want to go back and forth like 4, 5, 6 times it doesn't make any sense. You just want, if you really like the house and you're not in it for the thrill of the chase, just make them an offer that you're absolutely positive that's the best you can do,
Right.
and get it over with. And if you got an acceptance, right
Congratulations.
on. Congratulations. From that point on, just kick back, relax, and let your lenders and your realtors take the show from that point on.
Yeah.
You're just in it for the fun from now on.
Not really, not really. I'll say something very important about that stage. Get excited, yes, congratulations, everything. Don't go crazy. Don't start buying furnitures, TVs, applying for new credit cards, closing credit cards. Don't buy a car for yourself, for your daughter. I'm talking from experience because we had those scenarios happening. One buyer even lost their house because they went, bought a house, increased their debt to income ratio, and then he no longer was qualified to get a loan for the house. So don't. Get excited, no shopping, and save as much as you can. Let's go to the next question. What is earnest money?
Earnest money. We call it in the industry EMD. It's basically earnest money deposit, acronym. And that just showed that the buyer is serious, showing to the seller, hey, I'm serious, I'm putting some money into the escrow, and I have skin in the game.
Right.
So let's talk business from now on.
Right.
That's basically what earnest money is.
Another thing that is important to know about earnest money, that is, it's part of your down payment. So at closing, after everything went smoothly at closing, that amount is usually between like $2,000, $3,000. For like $1 million houses, it will be more expensive, of course. But that money will go and will be part of your down payment.
Now, one more thing very important about EMD, about escrow, earnest money deposit. 99.999% of the, 100% of our clients always had their earnest money either went towards their down payment, or if from any reason the deal didn't went through and we needed to cancel, they got their money back and they never lost that money. So that money is secured. Now, if you're not working with the right realtor, if you're not working with an agent that is on top of everything, that know the schedule and the deadlines and the clause in the contract that will let you out of the contract, then now you're jeopardizing your earnest money and you might lose it. It might be forfeited to the seller and you lost your money.
Okay, so by this time, we already passed a lot of major steps through the escrow process. We had our inspection done, our appraisal done. Remember, top priority in this whole process while we're in escrow is all the lender, whatever he asks from you, go ahead and give it to him as soon as possible. I know that underwriters have a very big tendency to ask you of million documents. Remember, they are giving you a really large amount of money. So whatever they want or ask from you, just give it to them with a bow and with love, and just move forward. So don't like get upset.
There's going to be a lot of petty requests. Yes. Like, explain to me why is it there's a $3.99, and I'm talking $3.99 deposit into your account on this and that date. Where this money came from? Those are questions that they need to ask. Those are questions that they need explanation to. Just give to them all those documents, all those things. It just to get it faster, over with, and done.
Right. The next step will be to get a final loan approval from the lender. That's a huge step, and it's very excited because it means that we're almost there at closing. It means that the underwriter, well, you can explain it better than me.
So once we have a final loan approval, it means that basically the lender, the bank, got everything that they wanted, right? You're 100% approved, right? It's not like originally with the pre-qualification or the pre-approval letter. Right now, you're 100% approved, and you're good to close, clear to close, right? That's what we call the CTC, clear to close. And from that point on, we just need to start sending some documents. The bank, the lender, sending the documents to the escrow, and you as the buyer will need to sign a couple of closing disclosures that will basically sum up everything that you're signing on, everything that you're getting, the loan, like how much money you're borrowing, what are the terms you're going to pay it back, all those kind of fun stuff. Everything is going to be disclosed on those paperwork. You're going to sign it, and from that point on, we're good to close. We're good to move forward, and then you're going to be meeting with Rachel or with me as the realtor in the escrow offices, or
before
on Zoom
we're-
if it's
yeah.
Corona.
Yeah, before we're going to go ahead and sign all the final documents, there is a final walkthrough. So the reason why we're doing a final walkthrough before the signing and everything is to make sure that the house is in the same condition like you last saw it. After doing a final walkthrough, you'll go ahead, we'll meet with you at the closing table, you'll sign all the documents, and wire
Saying
the
all
rest
the documents is like this little much of
yeah,
documents.
a lot. Wire the rest of closing cost and down payment to escrow, and that's pretty much it. After escrow have all the funds, all the documents, everyone signed, they send everything to the lender. The underwriter gives it a second or a million time look. Remember, even at that point, the day of signing, they can run your credit, they can check your employment, they can do whatever they want.
Yes, they will do a verification of employment like the day of closing, and they will do a rapid check of the credit score at the day of the closing to make sure nothing has changed and you didn't went and bought like a Lamborghini just the day before.
Right.
So
So another question that we have is, do I get the key after signing? And the answer is no, not yet. As I said before, after you signed and wire all the funds, the whole file is being sent back to the underwriter and the lender. They review it again. Only after they approve the whole file, they give approval to wire the funds, their funds, the big chunk from the loan, to transfer those funds into escrow. Once escrow have the funds from you, the funds from the bank, and the file, they will release the file to be recorded. Once the file is recorded under your name, you get the key and the balloons and the champagne and all those wonderful things. Do you have anything to add?
nope, pretty much covered it.
So this is the process. I hope that you enjoyed this video, because we did a lot of videos that people loved in the past, that we just stood and lectured and explained about the whole process. But this time we decided to do it a little bit different and answer all your questions.
Now, one thing
I want to
I
see
do
if
want to
I
add
missed
is that whatever we covered right now is kind of a flow chart of a normal scenario. And in life, like in life, nothing is normal, right? Each transaction, each purchase of a house has its own ways. So there's a lot of, it's like a tree, right? It's evolving in a lot of different way each time, because if then, so we cannot cover all those in just one video or one
Right.
conversation. So please, I'm positive that you encountered in the past or heard from a friend or something like that. But what if, blah, 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 blah. Type it, write it, comment below.
Right.
Ask us, we'll be more than happy to answer and just interact with you guys, engage with you on those comments, because that's giving even more added value for for other viewers of the channel, and it's really,
And
really
more
nice added
buyers.
benefit. And more buyers and sellers and everybody. So it's all about just
Building a
knowledge
community.
and a community. Exactly. Okay, guys, so that was us, Rachel and Jake Dadon, your local realtor here in Las Vegas. And don't forget to like, subscribe, notification, comment.
And enjoy your day. And remember
Yep.
that we are always here for you. And if you love this video, feel free to share it with everyone so we'll be able to help more people.
Yeah, you know where to get us, you know where to find us. Any questions, anything at all, we're here for you guys.
Yare yare da ze.
Throw an elbow.